Buckle up, because what just detonated inside that courtroom didn't just twist the story. It obliterated every single theory anyone thought they knew. Doug Christie's daughter, yes, the same Chantel who's been at the center of this decade-long battle, just turned in her own private DNA sample. And what came back wasn't just a surprise. It was a complete demolition of the entire scandal. Doug? Not her biological father. Chris Webber? Not her biological father either. Let that sink in. For years, everything we thought we knew, the war between Doug and Jackie, the swirling drama around Chris, the endless court fights, the whispered phone calls, the leaked recordings, it was all built on a lie inside another lie. And now, we've learned there's another man, a man no one saw coming, a man whose connection to Jackie Christie goes so far back, it predates Doug, it predates Chris, it even predates Chantel's birth itself. And here's the part that turns this into a full-blown psychological thriller. That man has been found, he's alive, and he's about to talk. The moment you hear his name, you will understand exactly why Jackie has spent over 20 years burying this truth, and why someone is trying to silence Chantel before she can speak. It began with a single, quiet decision. No cameras, no lawyers, no phone calls to family. Just Chantel Christie walking alone into a nondescript private DNA clinic, clutching a plain white envelope like it was life or death. She didn't tell Doug. She didn't tell Jackie. She didn't even tell Chris Webber. She used an alias, filled out the forms in silence, gave her sample, and walked out without looking back. She wanted truth, not gossip, not public spectacle. Truth backed by cold, inarguable science. Weeks later, the whispers started. At first, it was confirmation that Doug Christie wasn't the father. Then came the apparent bombshell. Chris Webber's DNA matched at 99.9%. But before anyone could breathe, documents leaked suggesting Chris's sample had been tampered with. The hospital logs looked suspicious. The dates didn't match the timeline. And deep down, Chantel already knew she didn't belong to either man. When the real results came in, they were not just shocking, they were nuclear. No biological relation to Doug Christie, no biological relation to Chris Webber. That was the cold, clinical verdict. So who was her real father? Sources close to the lab say the match pointed to a man whose records are sealed. Someone who had been close to Jackie long before Doug, long before fame, long before any VH1 cameras ever rolled. Not an old fling, not some forgotten name in a yearbook. This was a former team trainer, one who traveled with Jackie in her early playing days, before her public persona, before the Christie empire existed. And here's where the story spirals into a conspiracy. This man vanished from the basketball world suddenly, fired, gone. No interviews, no trace. But his name, it's buried deep in a sealed court testimony Jackie gave years ago. A testimony that mysteriously disappeared from official court archives. When Chantel saw the name on her report, she collapsed. She thought Chris was her real father. Then she thought Doug was her protector. Now she was tied to a man she had never met. And Jackie? Allegedly, she knew the truth the entire time. Jackie allegedly paid to keep his name off the birth certificate, forged hospital logs, and falsified signatures to erase him completely from her daughter's life. And now, after 2 decades, this man is resurfacing. Sources say he's already been contacted by the court and has agreed to give a sworn, recorded deposition. And according to insiders, what he's about to reveal will not only implicate Jackie in lies, it could expose fraud, obstruction of justice, and deliberate medical tampering. And Doug Christie? Imagine raising a child for 20 years only to find out you were nothing more than a convenient placeholder. A carefully chosen public father to keep Jackie's secrets buried. Doug is reportedly furious, launching a private lawsuit not against Jackie, but against the hospital itself, demanding answers about how his name landed on legal paternity documents without any valid testing. And Chris Webber? While relieved to be officially cleared, sources say he's livid that he was ever dragged into this circus. But here's where it gets even more suspicious. Webber may not be the father, yet he's been making large, undocumented payments to Jackie for years. Nearly $800,000 over a decade, funneled through a shell company tied to Jackie's LLC. And just when people thought maybe it was charity or friendship, a leaked voicemail changed everything. In that recording, allegedly from Chris to Jackie, he says, "Jackie, I did what you asked. I kept quiet. I paid the damn thing off. Don't make me regret this. Legal experts now speculate Jackie may have manipulated Chris with a falsified DNA claim. The fallout from the DNA bombshell didn't slow down. It accelerated, tearing through reputations like wildfire. 2 days after the results became public, Doug Christie walked into the county courthouse, not to fight for more rights, but to withdraw all legal parental claims to Chantel. Outside the courthouse, he faced a wall of flashing cameras. His voice was steady, but the pain was written all over his face. I love Chantel, always will. But I can't live a lie anymore. I was used, manipulated. I don't know what's real anymore. It was the kind of statement that split the public right down the middle. Some called Doug brave for facing the truth. Others accused him of abandoning the young woman he'd raised for 2 decades. But Doug was done. Done being the PR shield. Done being the decoy in a long-running deception. Inside the courthouse, another legal earthquake was brewing. Chantel, working with her own lawyers now, had filed to have her birth certificate officially amended. She didn't just want Clarence Knox's name added. She wanted Jackie Christie's name removed entirely as her legal mother. Her attorneys argued that Jackie had committed a deliberate pattern of fraud, falsified official records, and withheld critical medical and legal information for Chantel's entire life. And then came the smoking gun. Sealed court documents, unsealed by judicial order, revealed that in 2003, Jackie had allegedly paid a hospital administrator $30,000 to alter Chantel's birth records. Those changes erased Clarence Knox's name completely and inserted Doug Christie's in his place, despite no DNA test being conducted at the time. When this was laid out in open court, the judge reportedly slammed the gavel down so hard it echoed like a gunshot. This isn't just unethical, the judge said. This is criminal. The courtroom froze. Jackie's legal team scrambled, filing motions to delay proceedings, claiming the documents were incomplete or taken out of context. But behind closed doors, whispers of a potential plea deal began circulating. Jackie's team knew they were losing control. And then, in a move no one saw coming, Clarence Knox himself stepped forward. Holding a surprise press conference at a small community center, he faced a bank of microphones, his voice shaking but resolute. I've stayed silent for too long. I didn't know Chantel was my daughter. I was never given that choice. Jackie made sure of that. But now I'm ready to be a father, if she'll have me. The room erupted. Reporters shouted questions. Camera shutters fired in rapid bursts. Somewhere across Los Angeles, Jackie Christie was reportedly watching the broadcast, tears streaming down her face, not from remorse but from fury and disbelief as her carefully constructed empire cracked in real time. Chantel didn't attend the press conference in person, but sources say she watched it alone in a hotel room, tears rolling silently as she heard Clarence speak for the first time in her life. For the first time, she knew the truth, not just the biological truth, but the emotional truth of the years of manipulation she had endured. And she began to feel something she hadn't felt in years: clarity. Now, insiders claim Chantel is planning a multi-part documentary series, her version of the truth. It will cover the lies she was told, the emotional abuse she suffered, and the day-by-day unraveling of the life she thought was real. Meanwhile, the legal gears are grinding faster. A grand jury is being assembled. Jackie Christie is under investigation for fraud, identity tampering, falsification of medical records, and obstruction of justice. If convicted, she could face serious prison time. Chris Webber, now fully cleared of paternity, isn't walking away quietly. His lawyers are preparing a civil countersuit demanding repayment of every cent he transferred to Jackie, plus damages for the years of reputation damage he's endured. Doug Christie has gone completely silent. No interviews, no statements, but his absence speaks volumes. The day Chantel finally walked into court to testify, the energy was electric. Jackie sat at the defense table, pale and tense, flanked by lawyers flipping through endless pages of evidence. Doug, dressed in a dark suit, looked hollowed out, but Chantel's seat next to him was empty until the heavy courtroom doors swung open. She walked in slowly, flanked by her legal team, wearing a simple black dress, no makeup, no jewelry, just raw honesty in her eyes. Taking the stand, her voice trembled at first, but grew stronger with every word. She described a childhood where love felt conditional, performative, where every question about her father was met with half-truths or outright gaslighting. For years, she told the court, I thought Chris Webber was my dad. Then I thought it was Doug. Now I know it's Clarence. But the hardest part isn't the names. It's knowing my entire childhood was scripted.